It's 1984, and 9-year-old Sheldon Cooper has skipped 4 grades to start high school along with his less intellectual brother. As he struggles to be understood by his family, classmates, and neighbors, his mother arms him with the best tools she can come up with, reminding bullies that his dad is the high school coach and his brother is on the team. His twin sister doesn't share his exceptional mind, but she has a much clearer vision of what life has in store for the young genius.
This week on You've Never Seen That, Young Sheldon.
From Atlanta, Fulton County.
But one objective.
The color I see. Then you maintain the status.
December 7th, 9th.
You never seen that! You never seen that!
Ooh, baby, we are back for another episode of the You've Never Seen That podcast, the show where two dudes watch a show they've never seen before, and then we discuss the plot, the characters, and fandom surrounding it. Nailed it.
Got it.
This sexy, sexy voice, as always, belongs to your boy Bell.
And as always, next to you, the other sexy, sexy voice, Dr. Michael Haas, Esquire.
Here's the thing. I had to come in a little hot because I'm going to say this right at the beginning.
All right, here we go.
This episode was nothing.
What do you? This episode of our podcast is nothing.
Oh, we watched an episode of Young Sheldon.
We watched the. I can't believe I can't.
Young Sheldon.
I cannot believe I'm about to use these words accurately.
Go ahead.
We watched the.
Get through it.
We watched the critically acclaimed Young Sheldon.
Yes, season 4.
Season 4, episode 18.
Yeah.
Called Somebody's Dead.
Did I watch the wrong?
No, that was.
I was like, did I watch the wrong episode? That was last
That
week.
was last week. No, we watched. God,
Episode 18, the wild and woolly world of nonlinear dynamics.
Hold on.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. No, if we're gonna get after this Chuck Lorre money, we really gotta commit to this. Okay, you want me to do it? I'll do it.
You do it.
The wild and woolly world of nonlinear dynamics.
Okay, here's
that's
the thing.
the fucking shit they do.
We had to come in hot in the
Had to
beginning
come
of
in
this
hot.
podcast
Had to come in hot.
because this entire episode of Young Sheldon, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. You know what?
Genuinely nothing. This was the most boring.
We have to.
This was nothing.
We have to come in up here. We have to come in up here because if we just tell people about this show, YouTube will cancel us.
Okay, there's a somehow with nothing given to us.
We
in
are
this
only
episode,
2 minutes into this show. We have 58 more minutes.
we need to have an anger meter that just shows.
Just like boop, boop, boop,
Okay.
boop, boop.
Somehow in
I don't
18 minutes of this episode of Young Sheldon,
This episode is only 18 minutes long.
nothing happens in this episode, and
Nothing.
I have so much to talk about.
But it's not about Young Sheldon. The things you have to talk about are not about Young Sheldon.
I have so.
I know that because I feel the same way.
I have so many questions. For those of you who are regular listeners, you know that our relationship with Chuck Lorre is a little. It's a little rough.
Yeah, it's rocky at best.
It's rocky.
Rocky at best.
You know, he is one of those.
For people who don't know, you know what? Let's go one step further. For people who don't know who Chuck Lorre is, every show that your parents love was made by Chuck Lorre.
Petition to send Chuck Lorre into space with Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're actually friends.
Oh no! I don't.
bet you
I
they're
don't like.
friends.
I bet they are.
Okay.
You know they are.
I know we normally have a structure of things that we break down and go
Yeah,
through.
I believe it's the plot, the characters, and the fandom surrounding it. I just, if I had to take a guess,
That's genuinely
on what those things
we
would
do
be,
around here.
it would be those things.
I want to start by saying
Okay.
it is only 18 minutes long.
The show is only 18 minutes long.
I believe it's CBS.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And okay, let's start. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah,
I'm just so mad.
Oh, do we?
I'm just mad.
This is the origin story for how you become the new Joker. You think this is
Young
what pushed
Joker.
Young Joker? This is what pushes you to the edge. No, they did that in the Baby Batman show we watched. They did Young Joker already.
We did watch Baby Batman.
We watched Baby Batman.
Gotham.
That was season. What was that? That was the third episode
That was
we
like
ever
the
did.
third episode of this
we
podcast.
did.
That was like 3.5 years ago.
If you're wondering where you can find that, it's all in the back catalog on Stitcher, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Wherever you find this, I'm just trying to fill time because we have 56 minutes left of Young Sheldon.
Let's
all right.
let's
Reel it in.
let's back it up a bit.
Back it up. Okay.
What did you know going into this? Watching this show, what did you know about young Sheldon?
Hold on. Can I suggest something quick? You remember how last week we had Dernism? For those of you that haven't watched our Big Little Lies or listened to it yet, we worship. Okay, I think in this episode we need some kind of mantra. It doesn't have to be the Dern. It could be anything. But we need some kind of mantra for when we get too mad at young Sheldon. We need something that will center us.
How about Baaaaaaazinga?
Buzzing.
We just say
Baaaaaaazinga.
Anyway, so back
right,
to my question.
All right, in through the nose. Out through the bazinga.
What did you... Because clearly it's impossible...
Oh, shit, we need the Laura Dern candle.
There it is. It's impossible not to know...
Something about this.
Something
about this show.
The Big Bang Theory somehow was the biggest...
Bang. Theoretically. Look, man, I'm just trying to ride this storm out with you. All right, I don't know what's going on either.
You know, every once in a while you get one that gets me right in the belly.
Out of the park.
That was a good one.
Okay, what did I know about this show?
Yes, what was your knowledge of young Sheldon?
Obviously, I knew it was The Big Bang. I have seen The Big Bang Theory.
I have seen
without
more of The Big Bang Theory than I care to admit.
I have seen. Why would they
just in the background? You know.
Did you know someone that actively watched it?
I think, yeah.
Other than David Anderson 76 in the Discord, who used to watch it frequently. And
that one was for us. Okay, go ahead.
No, okay. I haven't seen someone watch as much Big Bang Theory. I've not been as Big Bang Theory adjacent as you have.
Right.
Oh wait, by the way,
this episode brought to you by what am I drinking? I'm sipping on some. Oh. Let's put that on.
Young Sheldon. This week we watched Young Sheldon. That's the review. We can just push it over a little further. Yeah, we're getting.
You do the talking while
I knew that was. Wow, we are good at this. I knew that it was Big Bang Theory related.
This is why you need to watch the video.
That's why you watch the video. People don't. People who are just listening don't know what just happened. So find us on the YouTube. You're gonna have to search for it.
So much
Type in.
hair.
You've never. That's true too. You've never seen that, and then find this. I knew that it was a Big Bang Theory spin-off. I thought we were past spin-offs.
Producer Josh, how does that look?
Like, I thought we've moved past that, but I guess we haven't, because this is a spin-off of Big Bang Theory. I knew that it was Chuck Lorre. I knew that it was a gratuitous cash grab, and I took a stab here to say that it's you want to angle it the other way. Angle it that way. There you go. Perfect. I took a stab and I said, I hate this. Before I started this, I said, I hate this.
Okay.
That was my prediction based off of the fact that I knew that it was from Chuck Lorre and related to the Big Bang Theory.
So,
here comes, there's an arm. There's an arm coming into the...
Careful not to show your face.
If we hit 5,000 followers, we'll do a face reveal. Producer Josh, you just saw his arm.
So
that's what we pay him for.
It's Sheldon Cooper, played by Jim Parsons. He's one of the.
We knew it wasn't Jim Parsons.
Right.
We knew it was Ian Armitage.
Yes. Let's talk about. Okay, let me talk about this first, and then we'll circle back.
Okay. Well, real quick, what did you know about it?
So I knew it was a young Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah. What gave that away?
Obviously, I knew this was in the BBCU.
BBTCU?
BBCTC.
The Big Bang Theory Cinematic Universe. It's like Leonard's going to get bit by a spider.
And I also knew that, like, So Big Bang Theory is your typical multicam sitcom laugh track. You know, there's a set. You know, it's kind of your. Oh, did he actually?
Producer Josh bought the Laura Dern candle. That's what I'm laughing at. It didn't need to make it in the show, but now it made it in the show. Tune in next week on the YouTube because we will have a Laura Dern prayer candle.
That is
next 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
couple weeks,
whenever it ships. It's got to ship first.
What was I?
You knew it was in the BBTCU.
Right. I also knew that this was
I
not.
threw that together way too quick.
I knew that this was not a multicam. I knew this was more of like a.
Yeah, it's a single cam.
There's
straight.
No laugh track.
Yeah.
It's very much of like a.
Is Big Bang Theory? No, it's single cam.
No, it's your
Is it-
typical multicam.
it is, yeah.
Multi-stage sitcom.
It is. Yeah. Okay, you're right. I wouldn't know. I haven't been that adjacent to
And
it.
I didn't really know much else about it. It's pretty easy to assume. Okay.
Is Young Sheldon popular? Yes, according to 2 sources.
I didn't know what the tone was. I really didn't know like.
I thought it was going to be every single. You know how Big Bang Theory was like, I'm a nerd, and well, actually, I thought it was just that, but as a child.
I mean that's pretty much all I knew, and I feel like that's all that you really needed to know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where Big Bang Theory was so popular that
Yeah.
it didn't matter what the show was.
True.
Knowing that it was like about the beginnings of Sheldon was
Yeah.
enough to get that audience to come back for more of that sweet Big Bang.
Okay, can we? I'm imagining there's like some like 57-year-old housewife just like tying off a vein, being like, "Give me that Sheldon!
I did want to bring up.
I need it.
I
need my 18-minute sitcom."
The fact that last week,
Yeah.
if you're a regular listener,
Yeah.
then first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
Check out the YouTube.
And tell your friends.
The fact that we got what's the show from last week called?
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. The fact that we got Big Little Lies last week and the first episode of the first season, the pilot.
Yep.
We are introduced to one of the characters who happens to be Ian Armitage, who happens to be young Sheldon.
Yes.
At the end of that episode of the podcast, we
get-
randomly select a show which happens to be young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon.
And then we happen to randomly select an episode, and it happens to be the most recent episode.
Literally, it was only like, what, a month ago?
Yeah.
About a month ago.
Also,
And I believe it was the end of season 4, too.
right.
Thank God they're greenlit for 3 more.
We didn't talk about this. They're currently through season 4. If
Yeah.
you go to the IMDb, there are 7 seasons listed.
Yeah.
Which means CBS is just milking that old Big
Okay.
Bang teat.
Okay. That's gross.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. So, this is what I can't figure out.
Sure.
When we watched, what was the first Chuck Lorre show we watched? Was it Two Broke Girls or was it Mike and Molly?
Two broke girls.
And then we also watched Mike and Molly, which is
Sure.
another Chuck Lorre
yeah,
show.
yeah.
When we did that, we got raged to find out that Chuck Lorre was worth $600 million.
Yeah.
So that was the Big Bang popularity, and then obviously now we have young Sheldon. How much do you think Chuck Lorre is worth now?
It says 5. It's the same.
No.
Yeah.
It says he's worth
$500
$100 million less.
I mean, these internet sources are never completely accurate.
That's true, but what happened? What did Chuck Lorre do?
He got on the SpaceX with
He
Jeff
went.
Bezos.
He took 2. Okay,
See,
well,
that
see,
says
here we go. So
600.
Chuck Lorre now worth says $600 million.
So I'm sure he's
probably around there.
He's just under a B.
But don't you think he would have made more money with young Sheldon?
I wonder what
We looked it up last week. He's only paying Ian Armitage $30,000 an episode.
Producer Josh, can you look up what was Chuck Lorre's title for this show?
He was an executive producer.
Okay, so not.
I think he was. It was him and. Oh my
See,
God, he's a writer,
Oh, I guess it is also
creator.
created by.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, when you reach a certain amount of money, it's like it doesn't matter what you do. You're just. It's gonna be more money. Like.
Yeah, I mean, true, but what do you think Chuck Lorre goes home at night to his $600 million and he pours himself a glass of scotch like Laura Dern's husband had in the Big Little Lies episode we watched? And he stands there and he's like, the world needs more Sheldon. This world is in chaos
I
and
mean,
disarray.
Okay.
Racism, systemic
You know,
inequality.
we-
You know what we need? Young Sheldon.
We try to not bring in
I'm just saying.
from a marketing capitalist standpoint.
Yeah.
How could you not
Make Young Sheldon. Well, no, I agree with that, but I'm saying how could Chuck Lorre
I
not
don't-
be worth
I-
like $700 million?
I don't think there was an option not to. I think they were like, I'm sorry, Chuck, but you're gonna have to make Young Sheldon.
I don't think that was. I don't think it was the case at all. I think Chuck Lorre kicked down someone's door and was like, "Yo, fuck you, nerds, Young Sheldon."
And here's the thing.
I think as
So
far as
here-
CBS is concerned, that can do whatever
Here's the
whatever the hell he wants.
Jim Parsons, who plays
4 seasons and Ian Armitage is only worth $4 million.
worth $4 million.
Yeah, but I mean he's like 12.
Jim
but woof.
Parsons. Jim Parsons, who plays
Yeah, look up Jim Parsons.
Jim
net
Parsons,
worth.
who
That's
plays
what I wanna see.
regular Sheldon.
Laura Dern is worth $20 million.
Not
Good
bad.
for her. Good for her.
He's
I hope she gets a cut of that candle.
Jim
we bought.
Parsons is a fantastic actor.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's been in a whole bunch of stuff where he doesn't play your typical. That's
good.
$1 million an episode.
That's good. Jim Parsons was making $1 million an episode, and he's worth $160 million. Ian Armitage is making $30,000 an episode.
I mean, good for Jim.
How
I
is
guess,
like,
but
that's where all the money went.
but I'm saying he's actually like a phenomenal actor.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
like pretty well respected in like Hollywood and that whole community. And
Well,
like
I believe doesn't he do after Big Bang Theory? Didn't he? He did a lot of like dramatic work, like
Yeah, he's
stage
great.
work and
He's
stuff.
great.
At least that's what I believe I heard.
Well, what else do we do on this show?
We talk about who
talk
this show is
this show
for.
Who is this for? So, Big Bang honestly seems to be for like your
Like everybody,
Joe,
everybody.
But it's ironic because it's almost that because it's for everybody, it alienates the people that don't want to be a part of the like the people that don't watch Big Bang are the people that are like, you're just what's your favorite band? The Chain Smokers.
Yeah, what? I love the Chainsmokers. That one song that's like weep womp 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 weep womp womp womp
I'm sorry, wait, what?
weep womp.
Stop
womp,
right there.
womp.
Here's
600 million. You went with Chuck Lorre. I went with Jim Parsons. I think the whole point though was we have more than Ian Armitage.
But I just mean I feel like the irony and that
Yeah.
Big Bang is for everyone alienates the people that don't want it,
Right.
that don't want to be part of.
You know what's funny though is I think there will always be this subsect of people who are like, I think it's stupid to like what everyone else likes. But as you get older, you realize that like everyone has that and everyone has that attitude and it's just about something different.
So I know that we watched Young Sheldon.
You've never seen Game of Thrones, you fucking nerd. I like Big Bang Theory.
I
Fuck
know
you
that this
guys.
is the Young Sheldon episode and not the Big Bang episode, but
Right.
I want to talk about Big Bang a little bit.
Yeah. You keep not using the word theory and it is messing with my head.
So that show,
Yeah.
the reason why it has such a big mass appeal is because there's nothing about it that like pushes any buttons.
Yeah.
Or is like offensive, or it is literally like the
Well,
most.
it literally
it's the most
it
vanilla.
It pushed the envelope just enough to gain the interest of the masses, but not so much to alienate them.
It's so vanilla,
Yeah.
and the jokes are so like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's like, I will say after watching several episodes of this throughout the last, I don't know how long it's been on, like,
Yeah.
it's very easy to watch.
Oh yeah.
It's not enjoyable. It's
Yeah,
not a
no,
good
no.
show. But you watch it and you're like, okay, I mean, sure. These guys are, adorable nerds that live next to a smoking hot blonde and wacky things happen. And like, what's her name? What's her name? The blonde in the show? She's like now doing other stuff and she's like actually also a very good actress. And
the one who was in Big Bang.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think it was very easy for them to take Big Bang Theory and go, okay, well, Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
She's great. She was in Flight Attendant, HBO Max, great show. It was very easy for them to take a central character of Big Bang Theory and do a show with a different tone about his origin story, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it like.
So when we talk about who young Sheldon is for, it's obviously for Big Bang fans.
Yeah.
But I will say that this show pivots away from Big Bang Theory, but it still pulls enough from the BBTCU.
Yeah. The fact that we just slouched right into that is just.
I wanted so badly to not laugh after saying that and just straight face it, but I couldn't do it.
The thing. I can't talking about. Okay, so the Big Bang Theory, right? It's for everybody who was like, yeah, I knew that guy. He was a fucking nerd in high school, but now he talks
with
to
the hot chick.
Yeah, and he talks to computers because he got the smart job with the thing. So now he bangs the hot chick and drives the cool car, but he's still a nerd, and like that's the whole Big Bang Theory appeal, I guess.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, that it's almost impressive that someone at CBS, I hope it's not Chuck Lorre, but I have to admit it could be, somebody was like, you know what every comic book hero has? An origin story. And they did that.
So let's
And they made it into another crappy sitcom. And I have to admit, a part of me is like, not bad. Not bad.
Let's break down the demographics.
Sure.
So I would say male, female, both. I would say age range. It's like, again, it's pulling from an established show,
Yeah.
which is for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say that this is for everyone. Right?
Even Big Bang Theory, I would say the demographic for any of these is like male, female, 18 to 65.
Yeah.
Like
Even younger than 18. Young nerds.
maybe, yeah, young
Actually,
nerds, yeah.
I that brings up a point that I wanted to talk about. I've seen this kind of like cultural shift where being a nerd is
Yeah.
now cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And being a jock is now not. It's a complete
yeah.
180 shift, right?
Yeah.
If you're a jock, you're just like, oh, what do you get drunk at the baseball games and hit on girls? Like, what are you what's the word I'm looking for?
Neanderthal?
No,
Cro-Magnon? Caveman?
You're a toxic masculine,
Misogynist?
misogynist.
There you go. That's what you're looking for.
and that's like being a jock is now not cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're put in this like dumb smashing beer on your head like Neanderthal, and now nerds are like they like Star Wars, they like the MCU, they like Comic-Con is cool, like, and so I think
I wonder. There's a part of me that wonders.
it's almost a 180 flip of like being a nerd is cool.
But
now.
you almost have to imagine, to some degree, it probably had a lot to do with the fact that, like, even like in *Halt and Catch Fire*, right? Like the whole idea is like they're on the precipice of making it big because computer technology is just starting to evolve.
right.
So it's like all of these people that love Star Wars, that love Star Trek, that love comic books, that love computers and technology. That's where all the money went. Before, the money was in being a traditionalist and being a jock in the high school and then becoming the businessman and then
Yeah.
like and then being the manager. Like that was like the way that you made money before, and then now it's shifted to more like technology, and those things go hand in. Like people who played D&D in the 70s became the nerds in the 80s and 90s that built the
And they
computers
were, like,
that got the money,
and those people
and then they
were-
started using it to like pump it back into popularizing D&D with podcasts and shit.
Do you
The circle of nerd life.
do you think that like the
Josh, can you draw a circle when I do that?
do you
Okay.
Do
You're
you think
watching the Disney Channel.
do you think that like commercialization of nerddom
Yeah.
is a bad thing?
No, I don't think so at all. I think if anything,
Do you think that there's a population of nerds that are like, but you don't really know Star Wars like I do?
I think we're getting
I mean, those people exist.
we're getting dangerously close to looking in a mirror there as we insult the Big Bang Theory.
Well, 'cause, like,
it's like
you know,
on the podcast
we-
that we use the internet to host, like
we talk about like gatekeeping, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's this weird thing where it's like all of these nerdy entities, whether it be like video games or the MCU and DC and comic books and all that stuff, like the hardcore nerds feel like the normies have infiltrated, right?
Yeah, I think there's always
And
you're
I think
always gonna get
I think that like the Big Bang is oddly enough, I feel like the Big Bang has really like pushed
Yeah.
The like commercialization and
It's almost as if-
normalization of
It's
hey,
almost as if nerddom was like very densely populated.
ready?
And like it was, yeah.
Ready? Normalize being a nerd.
Okay. It's almost like nerddom was like densely populated, right? You had like all this vast knowledge and ability
We haven't
and
even talked
skill.
about the episode yet.
No, I'm just
Go
saying.
on,
I'm
go
just
on,
saying.
go
You
on,
you
go on.
have all of this nerddom like densely packed together in this super tight singularity.
Yeah.
But then something happened that caused that nerddom to explode outward at a very like in an astronomically fast pace, and then nerddom kept expanding and growing until the point. It's almost as if there was some kind of nerddom explosion. Large explosion. What's another word for large explosion?
That's a pretty good hypothesis.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the riff until I realized where it was going. And then I was like, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of talked about who that's for a
The
little
Big
bit.
Bang Theory was the Big Bang of nerddom, to a degree.
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree with that.
I
I will die on that hill that I won't throw Chuck Lorre that bone. But
The odd thing is like all the guys on that show are
the best part is Chuck Lorre like rolls up in his like $300,000 car and like hits me with a fish for no reason, and he's like, "It's a laugh," and then he fucking peels out and drives.
callback. The thing is like all the guys in that show that play like the main four nerds are like so not nerdy. Like
Yeah,
the guy
yeah,
that,
yeah.
what's the main guy's name?
Leonard, yeah.
The guy who plays Leonard is like kind of like a hot guy.
Yeah, kind
He's
of.
got-
yeah,
like, he's got
he's
like
like
a-
a cool guy actor.
He's got like a beard and he's just like
Yeah.
a kind of a good looking dude. And then you see him on the show and he's like, "Oh, Comic-Con, wow, wow."
my Star Wars underwear. Yeah,
As the laugh track laughs in the background.
and they just go nuts.
I guess, you know,
Is that what we're missing? Laugh track? We should have a laugh
we
track.
should have a laugh track. Hey,
What do you-
set up a joke.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
I don't have a punchline.
Oh.
Should I set you up with a joke?
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't.
Oh,
It doesn't matter. 'cause you don't-
I also don't have a setup.
Oh, okay. Can we get the laugh track in there so people know that was funny? Yeah. Okay. There we go.
That wasn't intended, but
But if the laugh track's there, people will be like, "I don't get it. They didn't tell a joke, but it's funny."
have you seen the Big Bang Theory
Yeah.
without laugh tracks?
It's so
videos?
hard. It's hard.
It's bad.
It's hard.
Like I watched those for the first time and I was like, it can't be that bad. And I'm like,
Like-
it's
like-
so uncomfortable.
Sheldon literally will walk in and he'll be like, "Well, the pizza's done. Well, that's faster than the Millennium Falcon. That was only 3 parsecs." Dead air while everyone just stands around. Actually, it's like
hang on.
Yeah.
Let's do that one.
hold on, Josh. We're gonna do a live demonstration for the people here. We're gonna do the same bit we just did twice. Once with laugh track, once without, so that they can get a feel for it. All right, you ready? Here we go.
Your pizza's done.
The pizza's done. That was so faster than the Millennium Falcon. It was only 3 parsecs. All right, so I'm hoping you edited in the laugh track at that one. Now let's do it again. All right, ready? We'll do it
We
again.
have to do this again.
We have to do it again.
Can't he just put the clip where that just put that him clip?
No, let's do it again. We'll do it again.
Your pizza's done.
The pizza's already done. It's faster than the Millennium Falcon. That was only 3 parsecs.
And then this one.
This is the one without the laugh track.
I don't.
There's no laugh track. It's terrible.
I feel like that was too much work. For
It was.
I feel like that was too much work for not.
It
not
really was.
I don't. Too much work for not enough of a payoff.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and guess that that's gonna be pretty funny. Come the editing round.
Well, there's only one way to know if it's funny.
Watch the
If-
YouTube.
If it had a laugh track.
If it had a laugh track to tell you. Holy shit, we did it.
The levels of meta on that.
We did it. I think we just did it.
Let's
Young
dive in.
Sheldon.
Let's dive into Young Sheldon.
All right,
Actually, real quick,
if you're wondering,
I really, really wished that this also had a Bare Naked Ladies theme, but it doesn't.
oh yeah,
Bare Naked Ladies did the Big Bang Theory.
Did they
theme.
really?
Yeah.
oh that's why it's banned.
That's why it's so good.
I would like to point out to anyone listening or watching the show right now, you are at about 28 minutes into the body of the show.
You could have watched
And
this
we-
episode twice.
And we have not talked about this episode of Young Sheldon once. That is the exact same feeling you get watching 18 minutes of Young Sheldon.
well, let's start with that.
Yes.
First of all-
18 minutes.
The 4th season obviously is currently airing, which
Yeah.
means it's not available for streaming anywhere unless you pay for, you know, your CBS or you have
Is it
regular TV or
whatever the
whatever.
CBS access is or
So
whatever?
do we tell them about this? We
I don't
we found it.
it was we watched it on,
We watched it.
we watched it on the something
the
CBS CBS Pass,
I-
which is their streaming service.
I couldn't believe that the
I'm really
episode-
hoping there's like a little CBS Pass logo.
I couldn't believe that the episode was 18
minutes long.
right? Normally for a half-hour show.
Okay, keep in mind that
half-hour
is
sitcom,
keep in mind that a half hour is it's actually a half hour spot.
it's
right?
generally between 22 to 24 minutes.
Yeah, and it's meant to be built-in ad time, right? Like it's a half-hour TV slot, but they do build in time for like commercials and ads.
I think I just burped directly into the mic.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
I apologize.
I think
for
you're
that.
good. Think you're good. Okay,
I apologize.
so on a 22-minute sitcom, 22 to 24, we're talking about like what
5 to 6 minutes.
8 minutes at the most of ads.
Yep. This was half.
The show had 12 minutes of ads. Literally, if it was a 22-minute
So-
show, it would be more ads.
Do you think that we, not just when I say we, I don't mean just me and you, but I mean like the collective
Yeah.
consumers of content, like people don't watch TV.
No.
We don't. There,
I
there's
don't
a-
watch it when it
There's
airs.
a generation of people. Young,
I think that's
young-
why this is only 18 minutes long, though, is because those are the people still watching it on broadcast TV.
There's a generation of young consumers who don't even know what commercial breaks are.
Yeah.
Because they don't exist. You watch things on Netflix or Hulu or
Yeah.
whatever, HBO. I think that the success of Big Bang Theory allowed them to be like, you know what, Chuck? Make it 18. We'll fill in we'll fill in the rest with ads.
Oh, yeah.
Because the success of the Big Bang Theory was like, all those people are going to be watching. We don't even need to make a TV show. They could just show 30 minutes of ads and then put young Sheldon. at
It's
the end.
young Sheldon. Someone will be like, what is the plot?
But so
I thought by that Audi commercial I had it, but no.
so that was what we started
By the
with.
time I got to Facebook groups, I didn't know.
That's what we start with.
Yeah, it
We
was
start
18
knowing that
minutes.
it's 18 minutes long. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. I will say this about it: the cast is actually not terrible. Like you can tell that they actually put money into the cast.
The acting's fine.
Yeah.
The acting's fine. The kid can act. Ian, if you're listening, great job, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Here's the thing. I don't think that he's bad at acting. I just don't think that role is probably his. I would guess he probably had to do more acting in Big Little Lies than he does in Young
Oh, yeah.
Sheldon.
So I don't even know how to start with this episode because I want to reiterate.
Yeah.
In 18 minutes of watching this entire episode.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing happens. Genuinely, it is the most boring, nothing, no plot, no conflict, nothing episode of anything I've ever watched for this stupid podcast ever.
Yeah.
I'm very angry right now.
Hold on. What did we say it was going to be? Bazinga.
I feel better actually.
I don't know. I don't know why that works. I can't.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Nothing happens.
Okay, so
and,
first-
and the things that do happen get resolved very quickly, and it's like there is no tension, there is no
First-
build-up, there is no conflict.
First,
Nothing
before we
happens.
talk about the episode that is nothing, which we'll somehow figure it out, let's just talk about the cast real quick.
Sure.
So we have Ian
Sheldon.
Armitage, who is Sheldon.
The Coopers.
He's the Coopers are obviously the main characters. We have Sheldon Cooper. We have Ian Armitage. I didn't see it in Big Little Lies, but I see it now. He is the baby clone of Zachary Quinto.
young Quinto.
Young Quinto. That's coming out. Young Slap. Oh my God, he's already in 83 episodes. Okay,
man.
we have the Cooper family. We have Sheldon. We have the mom. The thing that I hated about this episode, I don't know if it's the show, but it was definitely this episode. We have Mary Cooper, who's like the put upon mom, right? Like she's just trying to hold everything together, and it's so hard for her.
Yeah.
We have George Cooper
Senior.
Senior, who is the dad,
Football coach.
the football coach dad, which again, horribly
Fine, of course.
cliche,
That
but
makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't it?
then we have George Cooper Jr.
Georgie.
who is like he's barely in our episode, but it's
Right.
one of the Coopers. We have Missy Cooper,
The twin sister.
twin sister. That I don't. Did they ever address that? Like, I wonder if
Yeah, they
in the
did.
BBTCU, if people were like, "Oh, we're finally gonna
mind-
get a Missy backstory."
Keep in mind, this is the most recent episode.
Yeah.
Was this? Can you confirm? Was this the finale of season 4, or was this just the most recent episode?
I think it was the most recent because this aired May 13th, and there's nothing since then.
Maybe they're on like a
Mid-season break.
Mid-season
if they
break.
did 18 and
Because
they did a
it-
mid-season, holy
because if this is the finale, genuinely nothing happens.
I mean, they set up a little. So in Jurassic Park,
there's
you know,
like the littlest tiny hint of maybe some sort of cliffhanger.
you know, in Jurassic Park when Newman drops the Barbasol can full
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Dino DNA.
That's a
Sorry, spoilers.
classic.
Spoilers. 30 years later, but you see it and you're like, that's a setup.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's gonna come back in the sequel. They kind of do that. There's a cliffhanger at the end of this episode, if you can call it that. I don't think you can call it that, but it's there. We also have
Mima.
Mima, who is
I like Mima.
She was Mima is
fine.
Mary's mom. It's Sheldon and Missy's and Georgie Jr. I guess is grandma.
Yeah,
She's actually kind of like I don't.
she's the character I like.
I know
most.
I'm gonna shit on Chuck Lorre, and Chuck Lorre shows a whole bunch, but like they're
she's-
all actually pretty good actors.
I had a note in my notes. I had a note in my notes.
Yep, that's probably where they belong. Wait. Did that actually happen? There's another callback.
That's another comment.
Another callback.
Where I think clearly it's the South.
Yeah.
I don't know where. The accents are not great.
I don't.
They're okay. They're okay.
Okay, so I immediately wrote about the accents.
It's a fine general Southern accent.
but I think that's like. This is CBS, right?
Can you look up where they're supposed to be from? Where
yeah.
Where does this take place?
And I swear to God, if the answer is Coopersville, don't even fucking tell me.
I'll do that in a second, but it looks like this was the season.
This
finale.
is the season finale. There is a bit of a cliffhanger we can talk about when we get there. It's a thing. It's there.
What?
Well, you know what? Hold on. Let's just go back for a second. Let's go back for a second.
This is the bar
Yeah.
for a 4th season episode finale.
If this were Game of Thrones,
of-
the Red Wedding
of-
happened already.
of one of the most
Spoilers again, like
of one
20
of the
years
most
later.
successful current TV shows on basic cable, and that's the bar.
Yeah, again, critically acclaimed.
What are we doing? We're sitting in a cabin.
Yep, it looks like a cabin.
In go ahead. I just
Bazinga. Okay. The accents.
they're
Here's
fine.
the thing.
They're fine.
It looks like East Texas is what it
Okay.
says.
Okay,
I
that
mean,
makes sense. Yeah.
College football.
College. High school football.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes total sense. Yeah. Here's the thing. It's
I would like to say it. I'm pulling this from the Young Sheldon fan site.
Oh God.
You are, aren't you?
Oh
Those
boy.
are still a thing.
Not
that's
only
great.
that, but someone is updating the Young Sheldon fan site.
Looks
Who
like
are
it was.
these
Looks like it was
people?
made on HTML in 2006.
Yes. Okay.
We're gonna put a table here. We're
Here's the
gonna put
thing about
text
that.
here. Nice little roll
Clickable-
over.
these are all clickable
roll over
links.
link. Nice. Okay.
Someone at the fan site meeting was like, "What if we do a flyout?" And they're like, "Get the fuck out." That's a computer joke that only nerds who we've gate kept will understand.
I'm laughing. Get to your point.
My point being, this is CBS, right? If you do an accent, it has to be a terrible over-the-top accent, right? You would never have like a colloquially correct accent. Like if you're in the South, it's like, "Howdy, y'all, I'm a gateway team with shabby dig on days of bacon different."
Yeah.
And if you were British, it would be like, "Oh, boy, that exchange could be infinite, isn't it?" Like that's like that's CBS,
That's
right?
pretty good.
It's just
That's
too.
pretty good.
It's too over the top because that's just characters welcome, right? I don't know who that was. That ABC?
That is Turner Broadcasting System. TBS.
TBS.
I don't know- I don't know
TBS characters welcome.
I don't know what the S in
software?
Turner
Broadcasting System. It's got to be system. Turner Broadcasting System.
So this episode
We have to fill a guessing game for TBS because we have nothing to talk about with young Sheldon.
There's kind of two
Turner Broadcasting System. There we go.
2, maybe 3.
What's CBS's catchphrase? CBS. Everyone is
You're
dumb.
somehow watching. There's kind of 3-ish plot points. One of them is that his sister.
That's like the big
they're,
plot.
They're 9.
Yeah.
So she's experiencing heartbreak for the first time.
Yep.
The other one is that you.
Are they 9? I thought they were like 12.
No. Oh,
because we're in season 4.
9
so,
is
yeah,
when they start, so they're probably like 12s. So,
oh my God! Right now, the CBS slogan right now is only CBS. I know it's probably like
2005. Everybody's watching CBS. That is almost what I just said. I said CBS. You're probably watching.
Okay, 2000 and 2005 was It's All Here. That's like one step away from It's a Laugh. Like CBS is too meta. Only CBS. They're like, who would greenlight 7 seasons of a shitty spin-off origin story of The Big Bang Theory? Only CBS.
I was kidding when I said my slogan, and I was almost.
You're probably watching anyway. Okay, so the main plot of this episode is Missy gets broken up with, and she's heartbroken.
Okay,
that's the
2.
Yeah,
Mom and Pop, they're having some trouble.
That's literally the mom and dad are having troubles. B plot.
And then 3. What's 3?
Mom is also having work problems.
Yeah, that kind of goes into B.
I get it a little bit. Yeah. Did you define a C plot? I didn't think there was time for one.
So we also learned that
I did write though through all of this. Sheldon is weird.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Jim Parsons, who plays
Big Sheldon, Old Sheldon
is the voiceover. And
what if there was like a Logan Lee-esque movie with Old Sheldon? That comes out next.
So, I wonder.
Producer John just rated this episode 1 star on the Young Sheldon fan site.
I didn't even see him do that.
I was wondering what he was doing the whole time on the Young Sheldon fan site. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Made me laugh.
Okay. I'm glad I got some joy out of this.
Jim Parsons does the voiceover for the show, and again, this is a very different looking.
It's a different
show.
feel. Yeah,
it's a little more serious. The tone.
There are like actual graphics. Like
you mentioned something, especially when we talk about like sitcoms of jokes per minute, right?
Yeah.
There's like
the old JPM.
There's like not many.
Yeah,
there wasn't very many like laughs in this.
There's no laugh track because it's single cam, and it's like story driven. It's not punchline. It's not set up punchline and slapstick gag like most sitcoms are. So if you had to call it like if you had to use like jokes per minute, it's pretty low.
So let's talk about Sheldon.
Yeah.
If you Google the show, if you do your own research, which I'm sure you all do.
Right, who wouldn't?
A lot of the autofills on Google is like, does Sheldon have autism?
Yeah.
That's like one of the first thing that pops up.
Yep.
There's a part in the show where Sheldon and his sister Missy, which again, I don't know why I do this always with podcasts and my notes, but I have her as Sissy several times.
Really? Just remember, Missy. That's a callback that only people who watch YouTube will understand. So find us on YouTube.
They share a room because they're twins.
Yep.
And she has put on a
I can't do. Producer Josh was the best and worst edition.
I'm not reading that.
That one
we're not going to read that one.
You know what?
Loud.
If you have guesses as to what Producer Josh just searched in Google, send them to us on our YouTube or our Instagram. All right. It is not.
We need to give
the
him
first
less privileges.
We do. The first search that comes up is does Sheldon have autism?
Okay. They share a room.
Yeah.
And she is, having her first heartbreak. So she puts up a sign that says, "Do not enter."
Yes.
So now Sheldon can't enter his own room.
Right, because he is a lawful good.
And so he goes and talks to his dad about it. And he asks his dad if he can go into his room. And his dad says, "Well, you need to ignore your emotions." And then he says, "Ignoring emotions is where I shine." And I was like, ooh, a little too spot on. The self-awareness of being emotionally detached from everything. I wonder if this is like... I wonder if maybe in the previous episodes they actually have an episode where they address, like, is he on the spectrum?
I don't know. If you know what,
Because this is at this point.
Can I get way too
2001?
Meta? Can I get way too meta?
Sure.
I think probably what happened was in some, I don't know, like coke binge, like executive setting, right? Lucifer television show himself, Chuck Lorre. I'm just saying, if Chuck Lorre were a television show, he'd be Lucifer. That show sucks. Chuck Lorre was probably like, well, we can't make fun of the gays anymore, and now the races can't be made fun. Who can we even make fun of anymore?
Oh,
and
no.
someone was like,
I don't like where this
autistic
is
people.
going.
I'm saying like,
Yeah.
because like I would guess 10 years from now we're gonna look back on young Sheldon and the jokes that they make about people, like autistic people, in this episode will be similar to like looking back on like like when they made gay jokes 10 years ago in sitcoms.
Okay.
I would guess that.
So-
because like this is not the only time in this episode where they like make fun of autistic. They have a joke at the expense of autistic
I don't think
people.
it's making...
They're not making fun of autistic people, but the joke is at Sheldon's expense for being potentially autistic.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to do something here.
Okay.
There is nothing to work with in this episode.
Nothing. No. Yeah. We're at like 45 minutes or so. We're doing pretty good.
I will say that you can, if you really put a magnifying glass to this.
Yeah.
You can kind of pull that there's like a overarching commentary of the difficulty of being parents of a mid-income, maybe a little lower income family in the middle of Texas with twins, one of which may be on the spectrum, and an older one that is not. He's clearly like a fuck up. He's like a fuck up that isn't smart, right?
I don't know if he's. I just think he's not. He's not like young Sheldon being like different, right?
And so I think
Gifted and different.
If you really try, you can kind of pull. There's parts where it's like, yes.
I'm not gonna lie. That fruit is rock hard, but you did squeeze out a drop of juice there.
Having twins, one of which is a genius but could be on the spectrum,
and the other is,
normal. It could impact your marriage.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially if
Sure.
if you're working in a low.
I think it's also making the comment that like middle America has marriage troubles.
Yeah, and so I think like I had to again really squeeze to get there, but I think that there could be some emotion to this.
I think here's the thing that I think is right. I think they got greenlit for 7 seasons, so I think weirdly enough, what we're seeing, that drop of juice we're getting out of this, is that they actually probably have the like ability to write multi-season plot developments.
Right.
And I think that like, so we're in season 4 and our episode ends on kind of a cliffhanger of like,
let's back up
let's
a
go
little
back a
bit.
little bit.
So the parents kind of get into a tiff on how they're dealing with both Sheldon's kind of behavior and then also Missy's meltdown.
So Missy's having a meltdown, and it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of like a perfect storm, right?
Yeah.
Missy has a meltdown about a boy, which means
Dad doesn't know how to deal with it.
Dad can't deal with it because it's not just his little girl anymore, and then him not being able to deal with it means his mother-in-law now thinks he's a fuck up or has always thought he was a fuck up, which again, this is so unimaginative writing.
Right.
And then, of course, that creates a problem. Now Dad's mad because he can't connect to his daughter. He has to deal with his son, who he doesn't understand. And then his wife comes home, and his wife is nagging him because she had a bad day at church because she works at the church where the other old woman is just
Texas.
phoning it in.
Yeah. Okay.
You can see how, like, it sets up there is a strain in the marriage. But I think they get to have that leeway because they know that there's going to be a season 5, right? If they end season 4 with marriage troubles, you can explore it.
In the full 18 minutes, there is one scene, one moment where I was like, okay, there's like a little bit of emotion here. Missy sneaks out of the house and
Yeah.
and runs away. Sheldon leaves the house to go to Mima's house to get cookies. Apparently, Mima lives next door.
Yeah.
When he goes back
There
to
are
his house,
there are 2 good jokes in this show, and it's when he is at Mima's house, and we'll talk about it.
you can get there because I was already skipping to when he leaves the house.
Okay. So first of all, he shows up at Mima's door, and Mima can tell that there's something wrong, and she says, "Oh, what's wrong? Come in." And she said, "That sounds like a problem that we can fix with cookies, right?"
Right.
So they go inside.
Oh, I know the joke.
They go inside.
That was like
They go
I
inside.
didn't laugh, but I was like, it's pretty good.
Right. It's a laugh.
It's a laugh.
They go inside, and Mima sets down cookies in front of him and says, "Tell me what's on your mind." And young Sheldon, Ian Armitage, just goes, "Oh, these are already baked cookies?" And she goes, "Well, I can bake or I can listen, whichever you prefer." And then it jump cuts immediately to her in an apron, like hammering cookie
Yeah.
dough. And, like,
It was decently funny.
it was an okay joke, but it was funnier because it sets up later where Grandma is like trying to impart wisdom into young Sheldon and
Right.
say like, "Hey, you need to look out for your sister. You need to care for your family." And young Sheldon's like, "Why? We're the same age. I'm not. I'm only technically your older brother by 2 minutes. Why do I need to do that?" And she says, "Well, I don't make the rules." And he says, "It doesn't seem like you bake cookies
Yeah.
either."
That was a good one.
And I was like, "Okay, that's yeah."
So then he leaves Mima's house and goes back to his house, and he sees that Missy has snuck out.
Yeah.
So then he says,
Well,
I'm-
he runs into her as she's sneaking out.
yeah, and then he says, well,
Mom and Dad have a big fight. Well,
Yeah.
Mom and Dad are having a big fight, and young Georgie like is standing in the middle of it.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. He tries to give her soup and doesn't make it right. That's why
That's
he's
at
a
the
fuck up.
end.
Anyway,
well, she sneaks out and he meets her on the road.
and then he says that he's gonna run away with her. This
Yep.
is the only scene where I felt like there was any emotion. Where they go to
Yeah.
this kind of like treehouse thing, and they actually
it's like an abandoned shack in the woods.
they actually like talk.
yeah.
And she has a moment where she's like, "Oh, I'm trying to understand your perspective."
it was at this point. It was at this point though that I wrote down. I was like, they're not bad child actors.
No, they're Missy and Sheldon are fine.
yeah.
And it's to this moment where you're like, okay, their relationship is strained because they're totally two different people, but they're technically twins.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the other kind of visual aspect of this whole thing is that it all revolves around the idea of functional dynamics.
Yeah.
And they show that by having cue balls representing each character, and anytime there's
they
a
bunk into
there-
each other.
there- it
or
represents
they
a
skew
moment of
off, and
conflict.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We
We could have explained that at like minute 3 of this
That's fine.
podcast, but
The other joke that I really appreciated was when they're talking, she's like, Missy goes, well, 20 years from now, you won't be sitting around talking about Star Trek and reading comics. And he's like, you want to make a bet? And it's like, womp, womp.
Yeah.
If this was Big Bang Theory, there would have been a laugh track.
well, yeah, Jim Parsons does a voiceover because she's like, yeah,
like, she still
I
hasn't
bet
paid
you
me.
$5 or what. I can't remember
yeah.
what they say, but then they do the pinky promise, and then Jim Parsons' voice just goes, she still hasn't paid me.
So then the episode ends with a zoom out of the pool table that has been used as a visual metaphor.
Yeah, so we've been watching Q's we've been
balls.
watching pool balls bonk around all episode. We've seen Missy and Dad bonking into each other and spinning off because they can't understand each other. We
Yeah.
see Sheldon and Missy bonking into each other and like sitting there and like
Yeah.
it's all meant to represent the conflicts that are happening.
And then we zoom out and we realize that the pool table is actually real,
And it's in a bar.
It's in a bar, and it's the dad's name?
George. George is at the bar playing pool.
By himself, avoiding his
Well,
wife.
When they were fighting, when the older brother is there, there's a moment where the dad says like, I'm leaving because I don't do anything, you don't think I do anything right or something like that, and the mom says, well, I never realized you were so unhappy, and the dad said, because you never bothered to ask. And it was very much like marital strife.
Right.
So he's at the bar by himself playing pool.
And then another single lady walks by of
Yeah.
the same age, and she's like, mind if I join you? And then the credits roll.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
That's I'm using this loosely, cliffhanger.
The last, I don't know how long we've been talking about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, what are you talking about, guys? It seems like a whole lot of stuff happened.
Right, yeah.
Nothing happened.
No, nothing, yeah.
Because every instance of a thing happening, there is such there is so little emotion and so little there's so little that actually makes you care about what's happening. Like, she has a meltdown, she runs away. Okay,
she's listening to Where Have All the Cowboys Gone really loudly because she said, I don't remember what song it is, and I truly don't care enough, but I'm just throwing that in there.
There is no emotional weight to anything that happens, and it's like,
I think it's just because I feel like this show is just manufactured, right? Like, it's pumped out.
After 18 minutes of watching this episode of Young Sheldon, I stared at the screen.
I started longing for those 12 minutes of ads.
I
just for some substance.
Stared at the screen as the credits rolled, and I just like stared blankly, and I didn't even realize that the show was even over.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh wait, I had to like snap out of it.
Yeah,
that's the cliffhanger. Ooh, his dad might.
He talks to another lady.
Season 5. What's gonna happen?
Season 5 just opens with George at just a gratuitous orgy.
Let's wrap this up real quick.
Yeah,
Bang Bang dead.
Well, no one dies.
I think. Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think Sheldon dies, and Jim Parsons is actually a reincarnation of this child's. No, I don't know. No one.
No,
dies.
what if
no
that?
one
What if,
dies.
what if they
no one
like?
dies.
What if that's what happens? What if that's what happens? They like reanimate him. Like they download his consciousness. Turns out that young Sheldon is the person who figures out how to transfer consciousness through the electric medium.
I was just trying to give this show some substance.
He ends up visioning himself.
No one dies. There may or may not be a sex episode.
Okay, here's the question. Here's my question to you. Bang Bang Dead is not applicable.
No one dies.
Does the dad have an affair?
We don't know. Nobody knows.
No one knows. No one knows. That's why I'm saying, like, do you think?
I think yes. I think yes, because you start to see, like, his family's broken. His parents have issues. He doesn't get along with his older brother.
Yeah, but this very well could also be like Sheldon being like, Mom and Dad need to stay together, and everyone's like, nah, he was gonna bang that big lady.
It seems like these are all just.
He's a bigger guy too. It's a thing.
It seems like these are all just like little nuggets of conflict that lead up to the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Bang Bang Dead. I don't know. Doesn't apply. What do you think?
About the show?
No, the Bang Bang Dead.
Oh, Bang Bang Dead? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think my biggest question is, like, I wonder if they're going to, like, would they show an affair in young Sheldon is, like, my big question.
I think they do.
Yeah, okay.
I can give my final thoughts real quick.
Sure.
So, the most neutral number you can pick on a 1 to 10 is
a
5, right? It's right in the middle.
Yeah.
I did not hate this, but I also definitely did not like it. And I didn't not hate it as in, like, parts of it were good. I mean, I didn't hate it because after I watched it, I felt nothing.
Right, yeah. Yes.
It's not that I didn't hate it because there were parts that made me laugh. I didn't hate it because there was nothing to hate or like.
Yeah.
It was the most neutral show I could. I'm going to give it just under neutral because it was just it made me just mad enough and it was bad enough that I'm going to say like 4.8. Do we just land on the same number?
I don't know how many times it's happened in the course of...
I don't know. 4.8.
I was going to give it a 4.8.
Because it's like 5 is neutral and it's like just under neutral.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've given shows like zeros before.
We have.
And I can't in good conscience give this a 0 because like technically Ian Armitage is not a bad actor.
No.
The girl who plays Missy is a good actor. Like the
and
woman who plays Mima is a good actor.
There was nothing in the show to make it specifically bad.
Yeah.
It was just like...
I think if anything, I put it as like the most neutral thing ever, and then it seems like they phoned it in the writing in order to manufacture this show, and that just like ticks it right, just slightly negative for me. We didn't talk about it, but in the beginning of the episode, the mom is at the church, and the pastor has had a baby, and so they were taking on all of the responsibility, and Mary Cooper is like, oh, I'll do the sermon on Sunday. And the pastor is like, nope, it's okay, I'll do the sermon. And she's like, oh, well, we don't have to decide right now. And he's like, no, I'll give the sermon. And she's like, oh, well, we'll play it by ear on Sunday. And then the old lady's like, take a hint, sister. And right there I was like, okay, that's the kind of writing we're in for.
Yeah.
It's someone will laugh at it. It's a laugh.
Yep.
But it's clearly manufactured to hit air. And that means I can't say
That
I'm
means
truly
12
neutral.
minutes of commercials.
12 minutes of commercials. I can't say I'm truly neutral on it, but I would say I'm as close to neutral as I can with like having something create a seething, burning rage deep
Right.
in my soul.
I
so.
echo everything you just said.
Yeah. Here's my question though. I did ask this to myself at one point, and it kind of like it hurt because I feel like I looked in the mirror. I was like, why do I like My Name Is Earl?
That show's good.
That show is good. Why is that show good and this show bad?
Because there's emotional weight to the things that happen. You care about those characters.
I
Because there's
guess.
Jason Lee.
And
Jason,
Jason
Lee is good. And Jamie Presley's pretty good in that
you
too.
know, the joke has been I've been wanting to watch Young Sheldon, and then now that we did, I'm so glad we don't ever have to watch
I'm
Young
so
Sheldon again.
yes, and actually I'm pretty sure this is the last Chuck Lorre show we have in the hat, and I am okay with that.
Well, producer Josh, if you want to dig into the hat while we wrap things up, you know, I don't know if you guys are Young Sheldon fans. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
they exist. Right?
Yes.
Young Sheldon fans exist.
Can we just do this real quick though? Can we do this?
What's up?
If you're watching this right now, thank you.
Tell a friend.
Thank you. Tell a friend.
Hit the subscribe button if
You have to search You've Never Seen That Podcast on YouTube to find us, but once you find us, hit subscribe and then hang out, and then you can watch us when we do this.
Tell a friend.
If you're listening on audio, thank you too.
Yep.
But, you know, like, really.
Follow us on the internet on Instagram, Facebook, YNST Podcast. You know where to find us.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know what? You know what's never happened that I really want to happen?
What's that?
I want to get in a fight with someone in the comments.
Yeah.
I've never gotten in. We have such outlandish opinions. Lucifer is a show. People like Lucifer, and we shit on it constantly. And I have gotten in a lot of heated text arguments about our stance on Lucifer, but I've never I've never fought with someone on the internet.
Tell us in the comments. Did you reach in the hat? What do we got?
Okay.
And not you, Sean Solo. If you climb up in these comments, I'm not fighting with you on the internet.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so
I want to be someone random as hell from East Texas.
next show we are watching
What do we got?
is How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, we've been
Okay.
wanting to watch this one for a while. Okay.
Viola Davis.
Let's wash this BBTCU taste out of our mouth.
6 seasons.
Okay. How to Get Away? Is this Viola Davis?
Yeah.
We
ABC.
are watching season 1.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I really like her.
Um,
Wait, she is an Oscar and a Tony.
we got
15
15
episodes.
We need to get her an Emmy and a Grammy so she can EGOT. 15 episodes, season 1.
Episode 11, which is titled Best Christmas Ever.
2015.
Oh,
After Christmas and New Year, the students arrive back at college and are immediately given the task of assisting with the case of a woman who claims to have been abused by her husband and forced to imprison young girls forever. So just a light Christmas
yeah,
episode.
just a light Christmas episode. Yeah, you know. Real good mid-season break.
Oh,
really just
boy.
going to the holidays strong. I'm confused. I feel like I thought this show was something different than what it is.
Scandal. You're thinking Scandal.
I am thinking of Scandal. You're right. You are right.
It's also in the hat.
No, we watched it already.
Thanks. Really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or was that Quantico?
With so many
There's
episodes.
so many episodes.
Thanks for joining us. As always, you know where to find us on the internet. Tell some friends. We'll see you next week for an episode of How to Get Away with Murder. We will see you then. Bye.
You never seen that.